Hello and welcome to the Curated Beauty Podcast. I'm Jessica Christie, CEO of Beauty Culture Med Spa and the founder of the new functional and regenerative business, Cultured Wellness. From my start as a physician assistant to now not only being a practitioner but leading my own businesses, I've been on a unique journey through health, beauty, and entrepreneurship. Join us as we explore everything from skincare secrets to leadership lessons. Whether you're passionate about beauty or striving to balance life's challenges, this is your space to connect, learn, and shine. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the Curated Beauty Podcast, my dear listeners. Today, you're in for a treat because we have a very exciting episode as we have the privilege of hosting a true luminary in the world of aesthetics. Alisa Lask, the dynamic CEO of Rion Aesthetics, is here with us today. Alisa's stellar 2-decade journey in this industry spans across pharmaceuticals, medical devices, and cosmeceuticals, with really commendable leadership roles at some of the industry's top tier companies like Galderma, Allergan, and Eli Lilly. And as if we could not love her more, she also volunteers with one of the biggest no-kill, no-cage dog shelters for our beloved four-legged furry friends. And close to my heart, she also lives on a ranch in Kentucky, a farm, a 200-acre one. So it's pretty big. And they have all kinds of horses. So it's really great to meet that friendly animal lover, also passionate about the aesthetics world. But what makes today's conversation even more riveting is our deep dive into the revolutionary plated skin science products under the umbrella of Rion Aesthetics, which, by the way, is an ever-expanding company. Have you ever imagined if you could harness the power of a topical product at home to repair and regenerate your skin with the power of platelet-derived exosomes? Well, you may not know what exosomes are yet. By the end of this podcast, you will. And I have to tell you, the future is here. If you were to tell us, even 10 years ago, that there was going to be a shelf-stable exosome product that was going to communicate to your cells and be able to tell it what to do in all the positive ways, no one would believe you. But here we are. Plated Skin Science is transforming the skincare game and offering this exact thing, a shelf-stable platelet-derived exosome product that promises and delivers skin rejuvenation like never before. Alisa, it is a pleasure to have you with us. Let's uncover the science and magic behind Plated Skin Science and explore how Rion Aesthetics is setting new standards in skincare. So welcome, Alisa, to the Curated Beauty Podcast. I'm so grateful that we've gotten a chance to chat and kind of highlight some of the things that we're going to talk about today, because this is a very exciting episode.
Thanks for having me on. I'm so excited to talk about Plated and what we're doing at Rion Aesthetics.
I have learned, a little bit about you by chatting. I love that you have a whole horse farm that you're living on in Kentucky, and you live there during the summer months mostly.
I do. I'm a horse girl. When I was a little kid, everyone always said I'd outgrow my passion for horses, and I never did. And so I live on a beautiful 200-acre farm in Lexington, Kentucky in the summer. So
I love that. What's your horse breed mostly that you have on the ranch?
We do mostly hunter jumpers, and we do a little breeding. So we have a couple babies every year. But the pride and joy of the farm is our donkey called Gus. And you can tell me I have a cute, I won't say it on the air.
I love it. That is so cute. I grew up as a horse girl as well. And I'm one of those girls who kind of, sold the horse as it was more fair to him. And when I went to college, which we all also have this common rivalry. I went to Michigan State and you went to Ross School of Business at U of M. But we're still friends. We're still aligned for this common goal of skincare.
Go blue.
But I really honestly cannot wait to get back into it. And I can see it in my daughter's blood. Like, she really wants to ride horses. So I hope that that's my gateway back into it. But thank you for...
We can get her a pony.
Oh, wouldn't that be fun? Ponies are so stubborn, but they're so perfect for little ones because they don't go.
Exactly.
Okay. So this year I started using this amazing product, and something else that I love is this community of aesthetics. Jessica, you're the rep that I have, also named Jessica. It's really confusing when we get on calls together. Brought this in, and she used to work at Galderma as well. And she said, you have to try this. It is an exosome technology and it's shelf stable and you can use it every day. And I was like, Well, that's interesting. I haven't heard of that yet. I've heard of some people trying to do it. And then you have all these exosome companies saying, oh, that one's not real exosomes or whatever it may be. And she was so great at delivering a little of the science from, a 10,000 foot view and sharing with me the difference of this product. But I have to tell you before we dive into it, I've been using it now since the spring, and it is incredible. I've noticed changes in really troubled areas like under the eyes, that crepey skin. And I just am so grateful that this product is here, hopefully to stay. And hopefully there's a lot of trajectory with Rion Aesthetics. Can you talk a little bit about the background of the company and where maybe this product came from and where it was birthed from, with touching on a little bit about what an exosome is and why people were using it?
So those are wonderful questions. I think I'm like you. I love skincare. I have drawers of skincare. If anyone says, you want a sample? My answer is yes. It doesn't even matter what it is. And so when I ventured into this, I was like, exosomes, what kind of shenanigans is this? Like, not interested, because I'm a science girl. I mean, I grew up doing pharmaceuticals, medical devices. Like, I like good studies and science, not just a charlatan that's pretending to be something. And I actually said no, like 5 times when they tried to approach me to do this. And I was like, I'm not doing this chasing unicorns and rainbows thing. And then one of these doctors that I know and love and trust in Palm Beach, Florida, said, Alisa, these guys really know what they're doing. Like, you need to spend some time. So I spent about 5 months consulting, trying to poke every hole into this, like, exosomes from platelet science. And what I realized at the end of my 5 months was this stuff is really good and the science is amazing. And we might actually have one of the first breakthrough ingredients in skincare in probably 10 or 15 years. And so then I got really excited and I said, okay, now we need to figure out, how do we educate people on platelet-derived exosomes? Because let's be honest, it's a bit of an ick factor, right? When I tell you our source material is platelets, you have a pause, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely.
But then I think we start educating ourselves and we realize that we used to, we had chemicals that we put on our face. We had plant-derived ingredients that we put on our face, but yet the human body, the power of the human body is incredible. Yes. And what our founders discovered, and this was after 15 years of research in the stem cell labs in Rochester, Minnesota, was that there is this amazing renewing power for your skin in these exosomes that come from platelets.
It's so impressive what an exosome is. And I think that you're right. So many people are still like very iffy about it. I mean, I think that the last few years have shown us that people are really starting to ask questions about where things come from, which is great. We want a well-educated consumer. And that's part of this podcast, is we want to give them the source and the real data from, again, an understandable, digestible view. When I think about exosomes, and I think what I always tell patients is it's almost these little tiny vesicles or envelopes of information. And it is the process of getting those into the area and of course, in terms of this, we're talking about the skin, where we're sending messages like repair or rejuvenate. And I think that for so long, we didn't really have anything like what you are offering. We have some good exosome products on the market that we're using with procedures, and there's obviously so much going on with that. But I think that something that is very attractive to this product is, the plated products, are that it can sit on your shelf and that a consumer can use this on the daily, not just when they're in our offices doing procedures. So you mentioned that these exosomes are platelet derived. Can you talk a little bit about the history of where they were first initially identified?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think for so many years, everyone's been talking about stem cells and PRP. But the frustrating thing about these two procedures is, if you actually look at the data, only about 5 to 10% of people walk across the stage and have these amazing results. Mm-hmm. And that means there's 95% of the people that spent all the money that didn't have good results. And my husband's one of them. I mean, he flew to Arizona, did all this research to get his hip injected, and nothing, right? He didn't really feel that much different. And so what the data suggests, the scientists that founded our product, is that they looked at cardiac patients, so patients that actually had done really well with stem cells. And they did all the studies to try to figure out what differentiated them from ones that didn't do well. And what they learned was these patients, the ones that walked across the stage, were the ones that had very high levels of platelet-derived exosomes. And these particular exosomes, like you said, exosomes are like signals. They're signals to the cells. It's like the words you and I exchange. That's all it is. It's just messaging to the cells. And they realized that they could get these exosomes from platelets in a very high quantity. So you can get these particular exosomes from many sources. But, in order to really get them at the quantities that you need, and you need a certain decibel level. You can't just have a few. You need a certain decibel level for things to work. They found this platelet source being so successful to produce them in this proprietary way. And it was really this cardiac study. And then interestingly enough, as they were working on very noble causes for these platelet-derived exosomes in medicine, they discovered that as people were working with them and having irritation from gloves on their hands and stuff, that they were getting some results. And what I love, I'm really into women in aesthetics and supporting women as leaders, is the wife of the founder actually said to her husband, why don't we make a skincare? He's an interventional cardiologist. He focuses on heart transplant. Skincare was not on his radar. And she said, listen, like skincare is a big deal. People really care about their skin. And so she pushed them to kind of develop plated and develop a skincare line. So I'm just fortunate to be here. Yeah.
I am obsessed with that. It reminds me of like when Jean Carruthers was treating people, for blepharospasms and then someone was like, oh my gosh, you forgot to, inject in between my brows. And she's like, what do you mean? And they're like, because I don't have wrinkles there when you do that. And it's the critical thinking, the innovative mindset. And I love that she took it there.
Yeah,
That's
boss lady. So yes, we give her all the credit. And, now everyone's like, oh, this is amazing. But it was not a noble cause in the beginning. So
yes. And everyone forgets about those paths for sure. So what specific, like if someone were like, okay, all of that sounds good. Of course, we want to send our skin signals to repair and rejuvenate and build collagen and elastin, all these things. Typically, what kind of, we have the intense, the calm, and the daily. What kind of skin conditions or problems per se would we be hoping that people would use these products for?
Yeah, so our hero product is really the Intense. That's the one that has the most exosomes in it. And that was designed for the most damaged skin. So, I have Irish descent. I have freckles as a kid. I was out in the sun all this time riding. I am the perfect candidate for Intense, right? The highest level. I need the most I can get at my age from all the damage before. And then as we started developing it, we realized there's this whole younger segment that maybe doesn't need that big boost of exosomes. And we developed the daily, which actually lasts double the time. So it's half the exosomes. We have studies that show it still works great on, younger, less damaged skin. So a lot of people like to start with the Intense and then transition to the daily. But if your skin isn't as damaged, you're younger, you're kind of trying to prevent and protect with the antioxidants and exosomes, the daily is really a great product to use.
And then there's this name on the bottles called Renewisome technology. In a nutshell, can you kind of explain what that means?
Yeah, so that's simply our proprietary platelet-derived exosome. So we call it our Renewisome. And only we can have that. No one else has it. And it's only in plated skin science. And that's all the 15 years of research and the cardio studies we talked about. That is what we own, the Renewisome.
I love that. I think that it's funny because even I have been using it. I'm now trying to educate my patients on it, and it shows how we're all in this together and learning together. It's brand new technology to me as well. And I was talking about it in a video, and I said that every single pump is 1 billion exosomes. And I'm wrong. Actually, in every bottle of Intense, there's 1 trillion exosomes and 15 billion exosomes per pump. And so and I think for even business owners or providers alike, it really started to change my mindset to where, of course, you could think, wow, that's a little pricey for a bottle of serum, but that's not what it is. You're literally getting an at-home treatment that you would get and potentially pay for in office every single morning and night if that's how you're using it. And for 1 pump and you're getting 15 billion exosomes, I feel like people would potentially pay a lot more. Not that we want you to raise your prices, but, I think that when we really change our mindset shift to think about the formulation and the science behind these, really, what a bargain to be able to get this kind of a treatment every single morning. It's almost elevated beyond skincare to really being a topical treatment.
We're fortunate. And there's a lot of charlatans that are saying they have exosomes and, saying they have so many, but really you need a certain level. And we did all the science to explain why you need so many. Why, a trillion sounds like, oh, there's waste. But, there's every little pump, you need a certain amount. And that's why you need to apply it daily. You can't just do it once. Your cells need signals more often than just once.
Absolutely. What kind of feedback have you guys gotten from your customers as us, as medical aesthetics practices, or what they're telling you that their patients are seeing?
I think the first thing we've gotten is just appreciation that we're being transparent with our source material. Like our product is called plated. And we're not hiding from the fact we're from platelets. We're not trying to disguise it in little 6 font. I think there's a lot of companies that aren't proud of their source material. We are proud that we're different. And we're okay if there's the ick factor in the beginning, because then you need the education. I think the other thing that providers are telling us is that they're able to kind of simplify skincare routines. There's huge antioxidant properties in this. And so they can kind of simplify some of the other things. I mean, I'm sure you're like me. I had a drawer full of stuff and I've simplified kind of what I'm doing on a daily basis. And so I think that's been really nice. You don't have to have 15 bottles in this like long regimen of stuff.
Yeah, I love that. And the more that you can get one product to do, again, you're actually saving money in the long run with your skincare regimen, because you're not trying to make one product do one thing. And then you, like you said, you end up with 15. I have also simplified my drawer quite a bit. I'm constantly grabbing bags of things that I'm either giving to my sister or whatever, even though she totally deserves, all the good stuff as well. But I'm like, hey, if you want to try this or use it up on your neck and chest, that's always a big one for me. I'm like, use it up on other parts of your body.
Yeah. Your legs, right?
Yes. Your legs need love too. So you mentioned in terms of sourcing, can we talk about, obviously we know that exosomes, the technology has to come from your body recognizes other human sources. So then I think people think, oh, well, what is the source that she's talking about? And maybe just explaining there's a couple different places that exosomes can be sourced from, but then, and whether it's adipose tissue or what umbilical cord, all these different things that we've heard along the way. Plated, and meaning that platelets, which is a component of the blood, is that then someone's tissue in this bottle, or what is the simplified way of explaining how that's extracted and it's still just little messages to your cells?
And this is a great question. And this is why doing your homework and understanding the process from the company, because these tiny little exosomes are really, really small. And you need very sophisticated machinery to make sure that you have the right exosomes, because you and we have thousands of exosomes in our body. We have ones that signal cell death. We have ones that signal inflammation. And trust me, you can get any of these from multiple sources, but you need the right one. Yeah. And so it's a very complicated system. And that's why we really love, kind of the fact that our founders are also doing medical work. So we're benefiting from the kind of work they're doing there in the sophistication of our manufacturing process to make sure that we've got the right exosomes that we're using for skin renewal, and that we are processing them in a way that, we're doing logarithmic, reduction of any type of virus, bacteria, anything like that. And at the end of the day, we know we're only getting the little exosomes. So there's no DNA, right? You're not getting someone else's anything. This is literally just the messages. That's how sophisticated this science has become. And it's a little bit mind-blowing because you just can't believe that, but it's happening.
It is mind-blowing. And I think that all of us, even as aesthetic providers, when we came to this space, we were calling them stem cells in the very beginning too. But it's completely acellular. It's just the technology and that messaging and that communication system, essentially, that we're able to bottle up. So I love that so much. But it needs to come from somewhere, and we need to learn what those messages are. So it's almost like it tells us what to do. Okay, so just technical wise for patients who are wondering how to use these things. So there's the intense, the calm, and the daily. Simply put, I think that we talked a little bit about the intense being this, someone who has maybe a little bit more of that aging going on, the extra UV exposure, maybe poor diet along the way, whatever it may be to create more crepey skin. I'm like that. The more, the better. I cannot give up the intense or the calm yet. And I'm still playing between the intense and the calm and seeing which one I like better, to be honest. In terms of the calm, we've started to couple that with a lot of our procedures. And I will say, I couldn't wait to put it to the test. I had a procedure with elements of ablation and I couldn't believe that it didn't sting. I thought because of that cooling effect, that when I put it on skin that was compromised, I really was anticipating a sting, but it was actually very soothing. Can you talk a little bit about how the calm is maybe different from the intense and why I'm experiencing that?
Yeah. So, I mean, when we developed the intense, everyone kept saying, gosh, could you focus on something post-procedure that maybe has a bit more hydration, just a little more designed pH wise for these post-procedures. So, I mean, obviously with any type of skincare after a procedure, you always want to test it, right? And just make sure, because everyone's skin is different. Everyone reacts differently. Sometimes I have ablative laser and I'm fine. And sometimes I have ablative laser and my skin is just angry. So it's always best to test everything and listen to your medical provider about when to start using it. But yeah, it was designed to be used and add that additional bit of cooling because your skin is usually so hot after you have some of these procedures. But I actually like to use it in the winter where it's really dry because it has a little more hydration. So I actually, like you, sometimes I'll replace it with the intense just because sometimes I need a little extra hydration and I don't want to add another product. Again, I'm into simplification.
I also feel like they're very easy to layer. So if you are using other products, obviously this would go first, correct?
Absolutely. So the most important thing on this product is that it's on skin that's been cleaned. There's no product on it. You apply it and you let it dry. Because we haven't done studies, right? The science is so fast. We haven't done studies to see what happens if it interacts with these other things. And so you need to give it a chance to really absorb and dry to make sure it's working, right? Doing its job.
Is that why you guys say to wait 5 to 10 minutes prior to putting on other skincare?
Yeah. And it really depends on the climate you're in. When I'm in Florida, my skin takes a lot longer to dry, right? Maybe it's closer to 10 minutes. When I'm in Dallas, Texas in the summer, it's dry in like a minute.
Oh my gosh.
So, in Michigan in the winter, it'll probably dry very fast.
Yeah. By the way, I just got to experience Texas in the summer and it's so hot that it almost like pisses you off. It's really warm. Florida does not feel as hot, even though it's really similar to the same, I don't know. It's very different. I think it has to do with maybe the water or something. I don't know. But
yeah.
I don't know. It was really wild. But yeah, I could definitely see that it would absorb right in. Obviously, this is something that has been stumbled upon and developed so well. And, now you guys are in the stage of launching this. I would imagine that your teams are opening new accounts all the time and that people are going to just be flooding you with give me more. Can you speak to anything from a high level where the company's going or what you guys are working on developing next? I know there's a lot of secrets in there too, but.
No, listen, I think our whole goal is to be as transparent as we can. So we have a lot of exciting things on the forefront for us. And you're right, we are opening a lot of accounts and we're just so grateful for everyone that's starting, especially to educate. Again, there's so many charlatans. Suddenly everyone has exosomes, right? Mm-hmm. But no one actually understands what it is. So we just appreciate all the accounts that are really focusing on educating their consumers. But, we've gotten all kinds of ideas of what we can do. So we'll have a hair serum that'll be coming out for kind of the appearance of thicker, fuller hair. We're going to work on an eye serum, just specifically. A lot of people just have eyes where they want to have an eye product and not really change their skincare routine. So we'll have that early next year. Then we're working on a neck and décolletage, just maybe a little bit lower concentration that you could use every day. It's a little more affordable. And then we're working on kind of adding boosting intense, so intense plus. So we've got a lot of fun ideas.
Wow.
We're just really trying to focus on not, getting the line so big, so fast. And then the company is actually also working, this is our cosmetic line. Obviously, we're also working with a different type of product, still platelet-derived exosomes, but a different product for the FDA. So we're going to start working on investigational studies for actually hair restoration, injectable hair restoration. And then we'll work on investigational studies for facial wrinkles. Those will be 3 to 5 years away. Different product than more easy and plated. Do not inject any exosomes now. Nothing's approved. But long term, our goal is to help, really advance aesthetics, and especially in this regenerative aesthetics, where people don't want to just have a filler, right? Like that's how people start looking weird, but actually stimulate the tissue to grow collagen and elastin on its own at a level that would help really rejuvenate the skin. So we're excited about those investigational studies, even though they're years off in terms of FDA approval, a lot of potential and excitement.
It is so exciting. First of all, I was like doing a happy dance while you were talking about all those products because you couldn't be more right. I usually, I pump one pump of my 15 billion exosomes into the well of my hand. And then you should see me I go straight to my eyes because that's always been my trouble area. But you really can, be able to target all these different skin around your eyes is different than the skin on your face, and the skin on your neck and décolleté is different. And so that's really exciting to hear that there's the trajectory for specific products for specific areas on the body. I love that. And then hair, there's a lot of options out there, but it's really exciting to hear that there could be some exosome-based therapies targeted for that problem, because that's a really detrimental one for people.
Yeah. And your scalp, if you think about it, there's skin there as well. And, we're having great success on the face, but we're going to do a clinical study and make sure that it works. So we're excited to see that data later this year.
Thank you. Is there anything else that we didn't talk about that you feel like specifically the consumer would really want to know about Plated?
Well, new packaging is coming very soon. So in early December, we'll have new packaging, and I'm excited to kind of tease and say that we're going to do something that's a lot more sustainable, a lot more environmentally friendly, and hopefully we'll be the first in the industry in physician dispense to do that.
I think I know what you're leading into, and I have to tell you that patients ask me for that all the time. So I'm really excited to see what you guys roll out next.
Yeah, there's so much waste in skincare. We throw away so much stuff, and I just hate to see that. So we're going to try to lead the charge as a little small company, and hopefully the big guys follow to advance what we're doing.
Well, I bet you guys will not be a small company for long. With that, I'm so grateful for this time that you take away from probably a lot of very, very busy days of building this up and, all the things that it takes to grow a company from the ground up, because you've done it before. You've seen this massive growth, and I bet and anticipate that you guys are going to do the same with this company. It's very exciting to be partnered up with you guys at this stage, because I get to have a front row seat to all of that. And so do my patients.
Well, we're just so thankful and grateful for your support and to get to work with you. And we're excited about the future.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us. If people want to know more about opening an account with Rion Aesthetics to bring Plated on into their practices, what would they do?
So, obviously email us info@Plated Skin Science. They can go on our Instagram, Plated Skin Science, and our website, Plated Skin Science. So any of those ways, it has contact us. And we don't have representatives in every part of the country, but we definitely can source and help people from kind of the main offices.
I've definitely experienced the massive amounts of support and excitement that you guys have. So I couldn't second that anymore. And I look forward to your presence at a lot of aesthetic, not maybe necessarily you because you're running all over the place, but at aesthetic conferences, definitely go visit them at booths and feel the product. It's just incredible. So thank you. And I can't wait to see what's next.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap on another enriching episode of the Curated Beauty Podcast. If today's conversations resonated with you, I urge you to share it with someone you believe could benefit from it. Let's spread the beauty, knowledge, and empowerment far and wide. For more in-depth resources, information about who we are, or if you're interested in becoming a patient or training directly with me or one of my team, visit our website at beautyculturespa.com. Don't forget to stay connected with us on Instagram for all the latest updates, behind the scenes, and beauty wisdom. Follow us at beautyculture.medspa and at B Cultured Wellness. That's the letter B, Cultured Wellness. Thank you for being with us today. Keep curating your beauty both inside and out. Until next time.